Welcome once again to the Digest, brought to you in collaboration with the LT Central. In this clip, we're going to shed some light on the employment market in the United Arab Emirates. We've got tons more clips to help with education and careers, so remember to like. It really does help and it costs you nothing. Subscribe, this also costs you nothing, and click the bell, which will make sure you don't miss any of our future helpful videos. Question: how do you fancy living and working in the UAE? You can lead a wonderful lifestyle here. If you like the idea of year-round sunshine, one of the safest places to live on the planet, and enjoy all the perks of a well-paid salary, then the UAE could be the place for you. However, you'll need to either bring a skill with you or stay here once you've got your university degree and start looking for work to keep hold of that precious visa. Although there's been something of a lull in the employment market over the past 2 years, as there has been across the whole planet, the UAE has remained relatively stable, and many areas of industry aim to expand and grow their business over the next few years. This means that there's a lot more opportunity for a lot more people to work here. As I mentioned, to live here well, you'll need one kind of skill or another, and so I've created a list of the most in-demand skills that can set you on your way. Nurse. We humans seem to be living longer than we ever have done before, and so while we may age, generally our bodies don't cope particularly well with it. Recently, of course, COVID has become a game changer, and this means that the need for nurses is on the rise, and so this is one area of growth in the employment market. Becoming a registered or state-registered nurse, RN or SRN, means you'll have qualifications that can take you all over the world to work. Nursing is not one of those jobs that's recognised as skilled in one country and not in another, say for example like carpenters, plumbers and electricians, where in the UK and Europe they're skilled, but in the Middle East and Asia, chippies, pipers and sparkers tend not to be so highly valued. What about being a blogger? 20 years ago, maybe even less than that, no one knew what a blogger was. Even less that they could be paid handsomely for telling people about things or places you're interested in, have been or experienced, and want to share with other people. Blogging was possibly one of the earliest examples of marketing taken to cyberspace. Bloggers were the first examples of influencers where they had to employ skill, nous and knowledge rather than just touting a pout and showing a bit of cleavage or leg to tantalize rather than using their brain. Which brings us nicely to the role of an influencer. The fact is, 7 years or so ago, there was no such thing, so their presence has become something of a surprise for many of us. And there are plenty who think they can do it because it looks so easy, when really, it isn't. It doesn't take a huge amount of skill, but it does take an enormous amount of dedication to the task. And the most important thing, you have to look great or at least have something about you. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they don't work at it, but let's be honest, there's not a huge amount of skill involved in becoming an influencer. If you think you've got what it takes, get yourself a YouTube channel and influence away. Financial analyst. Our sister magazine Get It has just brought a financial guru on board, and she is in one of the best sectors for future employment or starting her own business in the region. Financial analysis is a growing sector as we seem to be working towards making more and more, rather than just enjoying and sharing what we have. We see the likes of Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk and Bill Gates pulling away from the rest of us mere mortals, and our aspirations have changed over the past 20 or 30 years. Knowing what we can do with our money is as important as earning it. Those who understand the whys and wherefores of individual and business finance will be highly sought after by big hitters like Deloitte and PwC for either financial advisors and or investments. Moving down the list, we have video producer. This one is a little bit close to my heart because it's something I used to do. I found it relatively easy to learn and get on with the editing software as I did with newspaper design and makeup. The previously mentioned influencers need editors, marketing companies, PR companies, media, journalism, and corporates need people who can throw a video clip together seamlessly and efficiently. When you consider that many universities offer double major degrees in communications and media, you can graduate with all the skills you need to walk into a position, so the future is pretty bright in that area. To make sure you have some hands-on experience, get yourself a stint at either an online outfit or an internship that will let you put your theoretical knowledge into good, solid practice. Did you know there are more millionaire engineers than any other profession? If that's not enough to make you want to sign up, then nothing will. Other than that, there's a huge amount of scope in the engineering field, from civil to cyber and architecture to mechanical. The amount of openings for engineers is incredible, especially in the UAE, as the job the government has done here has been nothing short of phenomenal. I can't think of another country that's grown so quickly and effectively as the UAE has, and that is down purely to the vision and determination from the country's leaders and the amount of engineers there are in the area. Again, work experience will really help you get a position once you graduate, so make the connections and press the flesh in some good networking sessions. We've got another video dedicated to how to network, and so make sure that you have a look at that one too. Teacher. There's an old and very, very wrong expression that goes, those who can do, those who can't teach. That is pretty insulting to teachers, and as a teacher I can honestly say it's one of the most difficult jobs on the planet, and I've had 4 completely different careers in my lifetime, so I know what I'm talking about. Other than the amount of hours behind the scenes and out of the classroom you spend, there's often little appreciation from plenty of students, and in a couple of other positions in higher education, the management also pour a lot of pressure on faculty, certainly since the outbreak of COVID. Still, teaching is one of the most important professions on the planet, and those who continue to learn, gain extra qualifications and knowledge are a step apart from the rest. Good teachers are in high demand. What about being a translator? If you speak more than one language, that's fantastic. And when you consider the UAE is home to almost every language on the planet, it gives you some idea of the potential for translators to get work here. However, although the official language is Arabic, the most widely spoken language here is English, closely followed by Arabic, then Hindi, Urdu, and Malayalam. Added to those languages, we have Russian, German, French, Italian, and all the Balkan languages. So it stands to reason that this is where the lion's share of the work is going to be found. You can look for work with legal firms, the education sector, and the health sector for positions in marketing and proofreading, though, of course, there are plenty of roles out there if you look for them. Social media marketing. This is another area where 15 years ago there was no such thing as a social media marketer. And as technology seems to be progressing at a huge rate of knots, many of you who are studying now will have opportunities we don't yet know about by the time you graduate. Whatever, social media marketing is still a growth industry, and the more platforms that appear, the more work there will be. So there will be plenty of openings in lots of smaller businesses who want to raise their profile with effective and innovative campaigns. Again, when you twin a communications and journalism course, that could well set you on the way to getting a place in some kind of social media marketing firm. Finally, we look at web app design, development, and IT. It will come as no surprise that due to the advances in social media, AI, blockchain, cyber currencies, cybersecurity, web design, app development, and the continual development of the internet, MOOCs and MOOGs, and IT, there'll be a plethora of opportunities in the tech sphere. Again, as we look for new ways for businesses to get their message out there, programming degrees like IT, software development, and coding are on the rise. So if you know JavaScript, Python, C++, PHP, or any of the tons of other coding software options, you'll be onto a winner. Another one to mention here is data analysis or data mining. These are relatively new aspects, but they're all IT based. And if you can get your head around figures and analyzing data, then you are definitely going to be onto a winner. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you got something from the clip. If you've got any comments or questions, please leave them in the space below and we'll answer as soon as we can. If you've got any ideas or suggestions for areas you'd like us to cover, whether that's in academic development, career development, or anything else, suggest away. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget, like the video, it really helps and it costs you nothing. Subscribe and click the bell to make sure that you don't miss any future clips from us. Ciao for now.